Hello everyone, welcome back to another installment, Satisfactory. I know it's been a while. As per usual, past streams can be found on YouTube at Divi1212, behind the scenes when I go live notifications on Twitter or X nowadays at Divi1212TV, and in our Discord, the Divination Station. We have a few things on our to-do list today. First off, we gotta tour our mini nuclear factory that we built in the last 2 episodes. I know it's kind of been a tiny bit since I've actually had a Satisfactory stream. I was kind of trying to finalize designs for that factory and kind of just start clearing out our turbo fuel factory. So, that being said, this area probably looks a lot different than what it did look like before. And that's because we have these gas pressure um, generators on these gas nodes, which I'm a little hesitant to hook up to our main power grid, but it's free power, so I might as well. And these are powering this. I've completely shredded our old factory and have a bunch of machines and stuff like that kind of placed in already for what we're going to be doing today for our rocket fuel. And as for the nuclear plant, we're going to go over there first and have a little tour. Now, I will say that kind of last time we were not really sure of like the final design, but I mean I kind of had an idea. And clearing that out was a complete monster of a project, but I think we're ready to go, and I have a lot of infrastructure already set up for the event. Let me just actually turn off my starting stream. So we are going to go ahead and head over to the nuclear plant, if I can actually run and slide. Let's go ahead and get on our way. So, the nuclear plant is completely done. It's working at pretty much 100% efficiency. I don't think there's any issues going on right now. It took a little bit for it to kind of level out, but everything should be a-okay now. Some of these lines might change eventually. I should also say that Satisfactory 1.1 is already in experimental, and I plan to wait for it to launch for the actual game before I switch over, since I don't really want to lose my save or have to back up my save. But we are going to stop here at the plant. So this is the top area, pretty straightforward. There's the main factory plant there, and then kind of this side hub, which is a lot of water and stuff like that. I kind of graded it. Thought I made it look nice. We'll go ahead and stop down here onto the platform. Turn off my lights. Some nice blue lights in here. And then continue our theme of our little orange lights on the sides as well for this factory. A lot of light signs for these builds that I did for this factory, because it was my first time really experimenting with sign lighting, and I think they came out really nice. As you can see here, no radiation issues because everything's balanced completely. Go ahead and do a little quick overview here. There's a bunch of water pipes, everything's completely enclosed. We have a nice kind of semicircle going on around here for everything. There's a control room inside, and then some kind of just nice little designs on the outsides. We'll take a look at the front then once we get down to the bottom. Just looking around the sides here. Some kind of nice windows that are also graded, just to make it look nice. We'll go inside. And just some kind of externals. I know the water texture is kind of ugly, but once elevators come in, we might change these, but I really like the circular tunnels that go up through. This is the control room that overlooks all the reactors. There's nothing really up in here, it's just decorative, just to make it look nice. But you can get a nice good look at all the reactors from outside, see that they're all turned on and powered. Head on down. This is the power grid floor, which has our different power units. We have our backup batteries, our nuclear production, the nuclear power to the main line, and this is the main nuclear production line. And this one is something maybe in the future that we might do, some plutonium drones to move the plutonium out of here and send it maybe to a different factory to actually process that, since we might need to process plutonium here in the future. Not really sure what's going on with that. A little strange. We go down to the next floor. This is our battery storage. Not too many batteries, but a small amount for this factory, at least, so I think it looks nice. Let's go down to the bottom again. This room, we've seen this already. This is our nitric acid room. Cranking away. We go down below even more. You know, just our hallways to our main production. We'll go look at the nuclear production first here real fast. Come up here, there's some biohazard box, which I hope to fill with some extra things soon. We got some lights, warning for the radioactive, and then it's just some blue light here to kind of keep the color going with the particle accelerator. And hopefully we'll put some extra stuff in there as well. We kind of just look down upon the pit, see everything's balanced and working properly. Oh, I missed a, I was like, why am I falling? It's like I missed a catwalk platform. Add that in. It's a pretty straightforward. These machines too, processing away. They're all backed up, which is good. You can kind of see out into the cave. Go look at the rest of the factory. Overall, then, radiation's very minimal, if any. It's just in that room is pretty much the majority. Sometimes you'll get a click outside, depending on where you're standing with the waste. You can come in here, pretty basic lighting. It's our steel, all of our iron and iron wire and stuff like that. Other materials and things. Go on this side. These are our more complex things like stators and our control rods, which will definitely build its own separate factory once we get there. And we'll go on down to the bottom floor, where we have our kind of storage hub with all the materials coming from the trains. Our sulfur is on this room. You can see kind of the pump peeking into the next room next door. And next door you have iron being produced. And down on this side, you have our copper production and our copper sheets all being produced. They're nice and backed up because I made a little bit extra just to make sure that we had enough flow going. Because the last thing you want is your factory to slow down. And then it doesn't work 100%, then you get nuclear backup. So this is all kind of overflow-ish stuff. And then our concrete is in here. The front entrance of the factory as the train shows up. I think it turned out really nice. Some nice windows. A little detail to the middle there, even though it's kind of off-center, but that's just where the factory kind of laid out. And up top. So I think this came out really nice, overall. And I like that you can kind of see inside with the little semicircles on the inside, too. So I like how it came out. I don't know if I'm going to have enough fuel to get back up here. Let's land. Make like an emergency ladder to get up the side just in case I run out of fuel. So with that being said, that is our nuclear plant. All nice and condensed. And finished out. We just jump over here. We can jump all the way up top and see what our power grid looks like. Which is a little shaky right now, but that's because of the fuel generators being wonky because I'm burning extra fuel that's not 100% efficient. So, sitting right now at a whopping 38, around 38,000 power, which is going to go up dramatically once we start doing our rocket fuel. Let's go ahead and head back over to where we're going to do our rocket fuel. So I kind of have the plan laid out. It's not as much rocket fuel as I wanted to make. But if I want to make more, I'm going to need to bring drones with sulfur in. And I don't necessarily want to do that right now. But maybe once things are up and running, maybe then I can consider doing that. It just really depends. We're going to head over to our old turbo fuel factory and talk about some of the changes that I did already, and talk about what we need to build here. And I'll check off that we did our nuclear tour as well. So I'm really excited for 1.1 since it has elevators and stuff like that. Although I do love how the tubes are inside the nuclear plant, so I might not change those. But it's super nifty. That's an option now. And all the curved pipes and stuff like that are going to make a very nice change. And then I can also fix the ends of this train track so they don't have to loop back on each other and put little like train braces. So we're going to go ahead, jump down right here. This is going to be our base plan. Let me quickly just edit this list. Check that off. We'll remove that. So our general plan, we're going to be using 562.5-ish of oil. It goes into 18.75 refineries. Then that makes us a split of 750 heavy oil and 1,500 water. That'll go into a blender. And that'll make ourselves a bunch of fuel. Which in turn, that fuel and some nitrogen, coal, and sulfur will all go into another 15 blenders and make 2,250 of the rocket fuel. And a bunch of compact coal. That being said, when we go over here to look at that, I do not have that many blenders out here. And that is because we are overclocking a lot of these by 200%. So we'll have 7.5 of these and 7.5 of the fuel blenders. And they will all go and make what we need. And the reason I'm only clocking them at 200% is because it gives me that nice 300 round number. And I can use that to line these up with our pipes so that we'll have full pipes going through. And that being said, 2 of these machines is 600, so we're going to have 600, 12, 18, and then we have an extra 2, which is, I think, 450 of the rocket fuel. And that stuff is going to go over here to this nice little packager machine that I built out of a blueprint. Originally I used these for turbo fuel, but they work the same, pretty much. I just designed them so that they would go ahead and make what we needed. So these will take a bunch of rocket fuel and compact it into cases and then send it out. To where, I'm not sure yet, but we'll figure that out eventually. That being said, with the compact coal, I'm taking all of that and sending it over to refineries over here, and that's going to make turbo fuel again. So we're going to be making a good amount of turbo fuel, and that turbo fuel is going to be burned to pretty much power drones at this point. And that is all going to this big old packager wall that kind of just runs a bunch of these down. It was a pain trying to figure out how these all connected and their power and all that, but I made it work, and the blueprints actually snapped together pretty well. Of course, 1.1 decides to make vertical mergers, so this could be easily compact even more. It's just I had to do it that way instead. So, as we get into that, we have our oil being refined into heavy oil residue. And I'm actually have 2 floors of these. I got a floor down there doing this and a floor up here doing that. And that's because some of this is going to make that fuel, and the rest of it is actually going to make plastic and make containers to store plastic. So I'm making canisters with the heavy oil residue recipe and our regular container recipe making plastic. So polyresin is being burned from all of these. That's all just kind of getting burned and used up. And then the rest of this heavy oil residue from the bottom is going into the turbo fuel using the heavy oil residue recipe. So it's just a way to use a lot more of our oil. And we're using 20 sets of these, so it's using a whole 600 for oil. And then it's turning that into, I think, what is it, 800? Yeah, 800 of the heavy oil residue. And we're getting a good amount of poly. So that is the plan for this stuff over here. And it's all really pretty much hooked up, give or take. Just to kind of save us time so it's not repetitive in what we're doing. But with that being all hooked up, we are going to actually start doing our blenders and stuff like that. So, looking at these guys, there is going to be 400 coming down one pipe, and then 350 coming down another. And each of these is taking 50. So, think of that. We'll have 4 of them filled with one pipe. and another for fill with another. I believe that's right. 50, 150, 250, 350. Yeah. So let's go ahead and start hooking these up. What we need here is just water, and we'll need heavy oil. So the water is going to be the trickiest one to figure out, but our heavy oil is pretty much straightforward laid out. So I'm going to go ahead and slap down a platform. So we'll go way over here. Kind of just going to run this all the way down. And what I want to do is I'm going to grab a Mark II pipe. And I'm actually going to run it the length of these machines. So this one, I'm going to just stop there. Send the rest of it. Stop about there. And I'm not using the right color. So swap this to pipes. Paint the rest of these. Let's grab second pipe. We're gonna send this all the way down. And just a little bit more. I'm gonna stop right there. So I'm gonna get rid of these foundations, and we're gonna go build underneath. Like spike. Alright. So the goal really is to kind of line these up. I want them to shift like that. I'm gonna get them as close as I can. I really like to snap that well, but that'll do. And then I can chop this excess off. Put our regular pipes going right down into there. I'm just gonna put them just like that. Get rid of you. And that looks pretty good. And we're gonna do the same thing, but for these guys. And I'm kind of just eyeballing it. Probably a better way that I could actually snap them together, but this will do. This one. And then we can delete the rest of these and snap this all together. kind of wish that that came down nicer. We're just gonna do it like that. Bring it down first, and then we'll snap it in. Ooh. Whoops. Keep that as Mark II, though it doesn't really need to be, but I'm gonna keep it uniform. That is all of those put together. As for the water, each of these, that's using 100, using 200, 400. I'm hesitant to connect more than 600 up to one pipe, because it's super finicky with this. So I think I might split these into twos. I do 400, do 400, 400, 400, and then I think that'll be a 300? Yeah. But I think I might still pump extra water to it, just to make sure it stays filled. Let's go ahead and grab our watercolor. Just delete that. And we're gonna snap these in pretty much right in front of the machine. Oh, how did you not get hooked up? Can I click this? Thank you. That's weird. Alright, let's finish putting these floor pipes in. One, and one, and one. That's not where that goes. And one more. And then these are going to be split pretty much down like that. And like I said, I'm going to split these up into 400s. And then the last one will be a 300. But I'm going to pump extra water to it. Honestly, we might end up just crisscrossing just to make sure that everything gets filled, but generally that's the gist of this contraption. So, we have our stuff hooked up basically, except for the water, but we'll worry about the water at the end because I'm going to have a lot of things that need water. Just like all the stuff over there for plastic's going to need water. So that being said, each of these has probably, 200 per going to them, and coincidentally, these need 200 fuel. That means that we can just take a fuel pipe and send it directly over to the next machine. And probably the best way to do this is just send it directly like that. Actually gonna stop right in the middle here. Send this straight over to and we're just going to do that for each of these machines. A little tighter. Why does that look strange? I guess I'm seeing things. I'm going to the outside one. Shift that over. Connect those up. And then just gonna do this for the rest of them. Alrighty. Those ones are good. I don't have a lot of commentary today. There's a lot of like internal trying to figure out what is all needed. I mean, generally this process is straightforward. Just kind of hooking up the pipes and getting them ready. And unfortunately, here's a bunch of stuff that are gonna need done for the actual power plants to be done, and I'm not gonna be able to get that done this episode. And in fact, this episode's probably gonna be shorter than a lot of them. But we're gonna get the most out of what we can do. I feel like maybe that's not 100% straight, and I've done it for all of them. But I think it's too late to fix now. So I'm just gonna commit. I mean, it works on that one, but that's not... Well, I don't know. I think those should be up one, maybe. From where they are. I did think about letting the lines maybe go under. But, to be honest, I think I'm going to send the gas straight up. So let's look at how our walls are going to work here. I kind of want to keep a similar design to what the original building was, but it's probably going to change a lot, considering I have different ways to build now. So that's an exterior wall with these things. That being exterior like that. I think I'm gonna want something along these lines up. About 6 high. Give or take, because actually it's gonna be a bit taller. It'll probably end up being 7 high. What I want to do is pump the fuel straight up and in. But these two need to go separately to that pipe over there. So let us see. Just swap our little color dye back. And I guess the nice thing about gas is I don't have to worry about pumps or anything, so they can just go straight up to the ceiling. Actually, these floors are going to be kind of temporary. But that's going to probably have to run out across the middle here like that. Alright. Next we need our pipes. So these are all pretty much Mark 1s. But I think I'm just going to do them with Mark 2s. Just so I can kind of lock that into place. That'll do. Lock that into place. That is not right. Something like that. Although that one could definitely be a Mark 1. But those guys have to go over across anyways. So what I'm probably going to do is set a platform below. It's temporary. So I can kind of hook them up a while. Everything seems wrong. That one looks good. This one does not. This one looks like it should be over 1. Let's try this pipe again. That looks cleaner. Okay. So this one is going straight over this way. And we're gonna need to connect it. I hate that. Why? That one needs to come forward now. It's the right spot, wrong orientation. Probably should have measured out where I wanted these to go. Guess it makes sense to be lined up in the center, basically, of the platform, though. I don't know. I'm making it make sense as I go. I'm probably gonna just delete those anyways. Put these down. Yep, that's what we're gonna have to do because these aren't gonna line up pretty. And that's totally fine. Except when I do that. That's a problem. Now I can grab them. Bring them up. 1, 2, 3. Bring this all the way over. And down. This will go. This will go. And pretty much the rest of this can go too. Because what I want to do with the gas is really just have it run along the ceiling. That way it just stays out of the way. And it's explosive, and nobody has to worry about it. All of this compact coal is all Mark 1s, so I might as well throw those in a while. Those will all go down, and just need to hook up the rest of this nonsense. So 2 of these will be basically 3 lines. And grab a foundation again. Put that back. Or wall. Gonna run this along the top again. Probably to about there. Really, I kind of just want them to hook up. I'll kind of guesstimate. Where I need this to go. I want them all in line in a sense. That looks right. Let's get the next one. I'll just lock that into place. I think that looks about right. It looks like that line's gonna be where we're at. Okay. Overdoing a little. That in the place. I can't wait for the infinite nudging. Third one? Yes. Maybe. No. Like that. Like that. Just bring one of these pipes up. That look right. It does. This one up. So that's one whole unit right there. Get the next two, bring those up. That's one whole unit. One. And two. Why are these ones not? Oh, because I grabbed it from the wrong side. Okay. That looks pretty much there. Let's get this last pipe. Say that's pretty ideally lined up. And we'll send these up here. Then these two connect. And these two connect. Oh no, they don't. What am I missing? Two. These two don't connect. It's the other two. These two connect up here. Then I just need to bring them along on the next side. Let's just kind of do something like that. And I'm gonna get rid of these guys on this end. Get rid of these guys on this end. And now we'll just send these up that way. I want to take it kind of towards the end of the factory strip, basically. Whatever the end of this room is. Then we can kind of figure out from there wherever I want to go with them. That'll be fine. So, slap that down. Those two. This one going to be my nearest. So the center. Put you like that. And we're gonna put down these temporarily, so I can snap them all into place. Alright, next one. This guy, you are my middle one. Right up through there. And really, I can delete these two now. I don't need them anymore. Just need this one. Oh, that was lag. And you shall go all the way over here. Like that. Beautiful. Now let's grab that. Control and just drag that all the way down there. Get rid of the rest of this here too. And we'll get rid of everything on top. Because I don't know if I'm keeping that this ceiling. Yeah, close enough. And then this guy can get deleted. And there are our pipes up pretty much on the roof at that point. And I think that'll do for those ones. These guys are going over to our extra stuff. So now what we need is... we have nitrogen gas that needs to come in. But we also have sulfur and coal that also need to come in. The coal is coming from below. Sulfur from above. Let me get our floor holes. We're gonna put the coal on these ones. this one is only a 50, but I think the rest, since they're overclocked, are 100s. So that's going to be a Mark 1. The rest of these are going to be Mark 2s. And then we need our sulfur to come down. So sulfur, that might be a tiny bit of a challenge. I think each belt has, I actually don't know what each belt has on it. I think I split them in the 400 each. I can't actually remember. Or maybe they're 450 each. What is this one? Nope, you're 600. You're 600. You are what? 600. And you are 300. Why are you you're so much less than your other two counterparts? 600. 600. Okay. But that's only a Mark 2. Gotcha. So how much sulfur did I need overall? I might have messed up some math. It's not much, but my sulfur numbers, I only need 1500. 612, 13, 14, 15. Okay. So each of these takes 200. 2, 4, 6. We split up into 3, 2, 4, 6, split up into 3, and then the 300 splits into these two. 200, and this one should be 100. Yep. I just need to remember that that middle one is our 300 line. Which isn't the most ideal, I will say. But I can work with it. And we're going to bring these down from the ceiling as well. Since I kind of want to keep compact as much as possible. And we're going to go up like that. And we're just going to run a channel all the way back around like this. Just temporarily. You can see what's already going to be an issue. And it says big fat pipe in my way. But actually, I can work with this. I can go... We'll just go down one. I think some of these are gonna have to stay down and some are gonna go up. Okay. Because I want to split them off, but That's gonna be difficult. Unless I do it with just a belt going down. So why don't we put ourselves a splitter. Fortunately, the way I would like to split it isn't most ideal. But we could split it evenly, which would be nice. But that's going to be in the way. So I need to do raised splitter. Do we have a blueprint for? Let's go over here. Stacked splitter. Not gonna be ideal, so I'm gonna have to do is we're still gonna have to do a chain like this. See which way is this facing? To face the other way. That way? Nope. That way. 3. Two and 3. And we're gonna do the same thing for these ones too. Alright, so this guy is getting 100 sulfur. 100. This guy's getting... The rest are getting 200. 200. 200, 200, 200. We're gonna keep these as Mark 4 belts. Or... Actually, are they Mark 4 or Mark 5? Might be Mark 5s. They are Mark 5s. We're gonna keep them as Mark 5 belts the whole way across, and I'm out of aluminum sheets. Lovely. Let's go take a journey over and get some of those. They're only right over here at the supercomputer factory, so it's not terribly far. And if you're wondering where I'm getting aluminum, or where I'm going to get aluminum from, that would be the extra nodes, I think, that are over towards the forest when I was doing this factory. There's some extra bauxite over there that I can take, so I think I'm going to use those and just drone them in. Because I really don't need... I think I only need 450 per minute for the cases, and that shouldn't be too hard to get. Oh wait, that's not here. You go to the cooling system factory, it's right up the hill. Wrong factory. I really need to put a Dimensional Depot on my stuff. Then I wouldn't have to run around like this. Find it. An aluminum factory, like a mega one, is on the to-do list at some point here. I still have all of the rails that run up into the Red Forest, and I just haven't built anything with them, so that's gonna happen at some point. It just hasn't been this point yet. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Grab 8 of those. So I think the rest of the belts are on Dimensional Depot, so this is fine. I'm wondering if I'm starting to get to that point where machines are going to need to be overclocked, so I'm going to need to go on mass slug hunts. Since I can't rely on my lizard doggos to keep providing me all of my slug powers. And I'm not producing them yet, so that's going to have to wait too. I think eventually though, this factory is going to do power shards. Just because I think it's like diamonds and something else. Maybe? It might not, maybe not there. Maybe somewhere else in the world. I just gotta figure out where I want to do anything with anything. If that makes sense. So really, I don't need... This is way overkill for these belts. But that's okay. Gonna go just like that. Just gonna kiss. And this one has to go in the center with the best that it can. As for bringing the other two up, might be easier said than done. Unfortunately, they're right in the darn middle. Although, you know what I could do? I could just move them out a little bit. Kind of the way that we did the pipes, but do it like that instead. Instead of coming like that, you'll just come right through the middle. Like that. And you just kind of suck, though, because I need to crisscross at some point. These guys. Yeah, they're gonna have to crisscross. Well, no, actually. I do this. We don't have to crisscross. Yeah, there we go. Now this one just will go straight over this way. Oh my goodness. I'm sliding. Stock you there. Not gonna matter anyways. Second one will just come down straight. Stop there. We'll grab the next one and do the same thing. The nice part about building these kind of just going along the way is, I mean, sometimes you run into problems and other times you kind of figure out things that you didn't expect to do. So put that like that. You're gonna come straight down this way. That and like that. This one is gonna go down this way. Try to delete my little bases wherever I left them. And on that one, there's one right down here. This guy. I'm gonna have to reconsider how I connected that up. So try this again. There we go. Well, that's moving and grooving. Then we can get rid of all this. Lock it. Start deleting. And hopefully not select a whole bunch of things that I don't want to. Get rid of those. And go down the lines for these guys. Can't see all of that. Grab that, delete those. That guy. That one's just gonna be weird, but because of the pipe. There'll probably be a wall here anyways, so it'll be fine. But that's basically that stuff in. Last but not least, we need our nitrogen gas. Looking at that, about 150 per. So I take these maybe in 300s, might be ideal. I don't know actually how much these are split up into. So I'm making overkill, that's for sure. 120, 60, 240, 360. Okay, those numbers aren't right. Let me force it to update. Actually, might help if I place the pipe down. That's 300. Wondering if these guys are all 300? Yeah, that's 300. That's 150. This one's probably 150. That's 300 as well. That's 150. Looks like 2, 4, 6. That's overkill at that point for that one. Let's overkill for that one too. So, looks like 2 pipes per is gonna feed each of these. Let's kind of line these up in the middle. I remember that this last one's weird, so it's only 75. 75 and 150. What is that? 75 plus 150. 225. So really these only need to be Mark 1 pipes. So that'll be a set. I'm tempted to make them Mark 2. For these guys that are using the full amount, only because I'm concerned that there's going to be a throughput issue. So I think I will leave them Mark 2s. Those 2, and finally these 2. Which, I mean, if there is a throughput issue, I actually do have extra to use if need be. So, look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring this guy. I want to bring them all kind of up this way. I'm just gonna bring you out of the building like that. I'm gonna bring the rest of them out of the building like that too. I'm gonna keep these ones kind of close together. So there are those. And they need to connect up to these guys, which is easier said than done because this whole thing is not balanced pretty. I guess this one is our lowest level? This is tricky because I can't fit them all back up through that direction. It just wouldn't work. And I can't really go up with them either. Because it's gonna hit those then. I mean, I guess I could, but it's gonna look strange. So staying on the ground is probably the best option I have. But I don't want to take away from this thing. It's going to be packing all that stuff, so... Unless we just send them all... How many can I fit on a line? 4, at least? Yeah, I can fit 4. It's gonna be spaced a little bit weirder. That's gonna be super tight. I don't like it. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of how that looks. Alright, let's see. So then we'll keep it 2 and 2. Then. It'll probably be the best way to do it. Gonna just have to come across like that and connect upwards via here. That's how it's gonna go. No ifs, ands, or buts. Same thing with you. It's gonna be interesting. Oh, Xbox notification. Let's bring these out. And take these up like that. This one needs to not be so tight. I might need to bring that back one. Because I don't think I'm going to make that curve good. Yep, that's what we're going to have to do. That. This one. Line her up. Scoot like that. And snap these in place like so. These all lined up. How's that gonna look? I can live with it. It's a little disappointing, but I can live with it. These guys are gonna have to go, unfortunately. Pardon me, this is your eviction notice. It's also your eviction notice. Oh, hello. Didn't even realize you were here. Nice. I was acting weird. I didn't appreciate that. Alright. So, these need to somehow all meet up together. This one's just gonna come straight down. There, those are both 300s. That one's curved weird, but I think it's because it's just not lined up. I think I'm going to just paste this across. Delete that, maybe. Continue this. To there, I guess. That's two. This is what, 150 and 150? Yep. I'm gonna grab those. I'm gonna send you just straight here. You're gonna come down right behind this guy. You're gonna do turn. Tempting. So I want to put these guys all into one pipe here. So these can actually be Mark 1s. So that's that one. Now we just need one more of these, actually, to satisfy the whole thing. Oh, that'd be crazy. But that's not gonna work. Something like that, though. That might work. just need an extra foundation here. Bring that over. Kind of rotate it. That look. I'm gonna lock that into place. I'm not gonna actually delete that though, because I don't want that to be that long. I want that to actually just come down to probably here. And that should do. Alright, let's get these pipes hooked up. Yeah, I hate it. I don't know how I feel about this whole setup. I'm gonna put these down here. And that one's gonna be Mark 1, really. Actually, just gonna send that straight up like that. Straight down like that. Lock that into place. And that guy will go like that. Okay, next one. Chew out at the same location, which is that middle. Two back. Snap that one in place. You can just go straight into there. And we go right up the wall like that. Trying to line this up. Get rid of this tiny little segment. We're kind of gonna spread that out. And this one can just go straight. And this one can just go straight. Bing bada boom. Alright. That is our nitrogen gas hooked up. More or less. I just clean this up just a smidgen. You look at least semi-uniform. Go like that. I will probably add some detail into this, because that kind of just looks dumb, just all being the white color. Probably throw some, like, beams and stuff in. It's just kind of trying to fill through right now. Just gonna have walls in there. This is kind of a dead channel. Kind of weird. Those pipes all come running over and they go into the building, and that looks fine. I'm just worried that throughput's gonna be an issue, but I think that'll do. So the gas, the last that needs hooked up is below for the coal. I have a way in. I don't even know. I don't think I have a way down. Underneath. We're just gonna poke a hole. I have a hole in the wall. This is all old infrastructure down here. Just gonna delete some of this out. Stuff I forgot to get rid of. There's a bunch of old wiring down here too. Which we might make use of some. But our coal needs to go into these ones up here. Right now I gotta figure out what I have it splitting into. To see what makes the most sense for this. So we only need 750 coal. Which really means that a majority of it can just go on one tier 5 belt. I think there's 50, they're all split into 50, so they're all 50. Except for this last one, which should be 25. Yep. Oh wait, why am I... Oh no, I'm wrong. They're 100 each. And the last one's 50. Gotcha. And let's see what I'm splitting them into at the base of this operation. Because I probably didn't even update this. Let's see what we got here. 300. $600. Which is getting split into two. Was that 450? And I'm assuming this is 300, so 450. So yeah. Not ideal. 450 per line. That's fine. I can work with that. Because this first one's a 50. And then the subsequent ones are hundreds. Let's get a splitter. Lock that into place. $50. $150. $250. $350. $450. And these ones are Mark IIs except for the last one. What is this? Oh, shoot. Ah, I'm in the wrong one. So I put a extra one now by mistake. This one is the Mark 1, which is 50. The rest are Mark 2s. Let's just go to this very last one. And we're just gonna delete that guy for now. Actually, which way is this splitter facing? That's not the splitter. I'm gonna rotate this. We're gonna face this way instead. And in the place, I'm gonna have to delete this and replace it down so it snaps. And that means this guy is gonna go right into there. Then run down. So 50, that's 150. 250. 350. 450. So now technically this other belt only needs 300 to satisfy it. So I'm gonna run along the outside of this one. And we're gonna bring the 300 on this side. Grab our splitters. And our last one. There. Mark 2s for these three. And we're just gonna keep this on the Mark 4 belt, because that'll give us 300. And we're gonna run this all the way back. This needs adjusted. Right idea, wrong spot. Much better. Alright, so that is that connected. I am gonna get rid of some of these extra wires. That can go. That can go. So that'll just be for the coal. And the only other thing that we really need to do is actually gonna cut all of these wires out. I'm not gonna reuse them. These were where all of our old assemblers were for compact coal. There's a bunch of these down here that aren't necessarily needed. Alright, so compact coal, we're getting 375 per minute. Which I think it's 50 per. 50 per. Because 5 times 7 is 35. Yeah, 50 per plus 25 on the end. These will all be Mark 1s coming out then. Let me go do that real fast. And these guys are gonna have mergers. And we're all going that way. Because they need to go all the way over to the compact. Not compact. They need to go all the way to the turbo fuel. I have 8 of these, right? They're all Mark 1s going onto a Mark 4 line. That needs adjusted. What are you doing? Lastly, this one. So Mark 1 belt's going into a Mark 4 line. Simple. There will be a overflow built into this guy to make sure that our turbo or our rocket fuel doesn't stop flowing. Oh, that's overkill. I just need to figure out where the heck the hole is for the rocket fuel, or for the coal. Somewhere over here, probably. I don't even know if I have a hole. Nope, I don't even have a setup for that. Seems legit. No, we're not gonna do that. We're going to just not do that. This, we'll just use our blueprint for our stack splitters. Figure out which direction we're facing. There's good. Let's go over 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness. That's not lined up. Nope. Didn't mean to shoot you. Blueprint mode. I hear they're bringing controller support to this. Which, I already play on a controller, actually. I just find it more comfortable that way. Which I mapped out myself. But apparently they're going to have official controller support, which I'm probably going to try. Considering there'll probably be more functionality than what I have. It's not lined up. Because right now I can't use any like hotkey buttons or anything like that, but with actual controller support, that is going to be a big difference. I'm not getting my hopes too high on that. These are 30s. So what we're going to do is slap mark 1s on all of these. I don't know what you were snapping to. This will be a mark 4 line. Continue this down the whole way. Then we will get ourselves a nice, handy, dandy, awesome sink. Probably there. I actually don't know if this is open to the bottom or not. That fits with that pipe, so I'm happy with it. Do I have... I do have ground access here. Do we need a smart splitter? Right here. That is going to take compact coal, front, overflow, over there. I'm going to just switch that to compact coal, just in case if there's ever a kind of hiccup, we'll have compact coal. I want to keep this at Mark 4 the whole time, just in case it's like a mass overflow issue. we're just gonna put it down like that and seal this up then. So I put a temporary foundation down. Let's see where we are in relations. Not terribly far. I want to skim this as close as I can. It's like we'll kind of just zigzag and go straight on through. Like that. Grab our Mark IV. Just gonna take this straight down the line. Oh, of course you're just short right there. And then right into there. That should be good for you. That's our turbo fuel all hooked up now. Pretty much, other than power. And that'll all be going over to here. Into this massive wall of turbo fuel boxing. But I think that is where I'm going to call it for now. I think I'm going to do pretty much the rest of the stuff offline. I wanted to show, or like behind the scenes, I wanted to show at least hooking up the rocket fuel, because really all that's left is me gutting that building and putting power shreds in so that we can burn these 3 lines of rocket fuel, and then getting some bauxite over here with drones to box the rest of this stuff. And the same thing with just connecting. There's 2 streams of the plastic containers that come through here. So if we just go in here, there's gonna be 1 belt coming out there. We can go look at these real fast. Gonna be 266,667. It's a weird number, and that doesn't really matter per se. I just need enough extra to flow, and I'm gonna have a overflow on that as well, so that doesn't back up. But the same thing is down here too, so another 266.667. Around 5 something is our number there. We need to hook up the water still, and that's just tedious. And nobody wants to watch that. But I didn't show off the bottom here as well. So I'm just using these lights again. I think they look nice in the system, and then we have some kind of interior stuff, and then the lights will be on in here once they're hooked up to power. But I think it looks nice with the sign lights. I'm actually really liking using them, so it's gonna be a continuation of that. But pretty much it's just hooking up the rest of the containers and having them go in an awesome sync, which they're going right into there, and then figuring out what we'll do for drones and stuff and the rest of the power in the buildings and things like that. So as for next time, let's grab ourselves that. So I think it's safe to say that we have completed all of our tasks, which is great. Next time we will work on drones. Which really is just going to be me laying out, showing what I have available for drones, because I'm going to need to kind of build that into the infrastructure as well. We will for the rocket fuel plant. And then we will also probably start planning our next stages. So we'll just leave that ominous and vague. And then kind of the off-air stuff, I'll just finish kernels for rocket fuel plant. And I think we will just leave that at that. So that'll be our episode 26 plan. And yeah, I think that'll look nice. And who knows? Hopefully I plan to get it out a little bit sooner than what this one took. It was kind of gone for a while, but I really just had to gut this whole factory. So that took a while to do. Sorry. But I think that is where we're going to call it. As per usual, past streams can be found on YouTube at Divi1212, behind the scenes Vinegar Live notifications, on Twitter or X nowadays at Divi1212TV, and in our Discord, the Divination Station. If you're catching us on the YouTube side, do feel free to drop a like or comment. It does help out the algorithm recommend my content for others. It's a big deal if you do, and it would help spread my videos. And if you want to come and watch me here live, there's notifications that go up, so you'll be able to see that. For that, catch you guys all in the next one. Hope to see you soon.